Dick Zanuck, who is an amazing guy, I think he's one of the best producers in the world today, and he had a great old Hollywood idea. He said, why don't we use a real shark, but when we shoot all the scenes with Richard Dreyfuss in the cage, we'll use a midget in the cage and build a half-size cage, so it'll make a 15-foot great white shark look like a 30-foot great white shark. So I said, well, why don't we try it? So Universal spent some money, and we actually went to Australia with a midget who told us that he knew how to scuba dive. As a matter of fact, I was interviewing midgets one day for this part. Absolutely a true story. And one of the small gentleman came into my office covered in blood. He had cuts here, he had cuts here, his arms were cut. And I said, what happened to you? He said, well, look, I really got to get this job, and I just racked up my car in front of the Universal Studio Tour gate, and I got into a traffic accident, but I had to come in and get the job. I didn't want to be late. It was 3 o'clock. He was going to be late. So we had the ambulance attendants come around to my office to take care of him. And I assumed anybody who was that brave to leave an accident to get a job, to go into the water with a real live shark, deserves the job. So we sent him to Australia with Ron and Valerie Taylor, who I'm sure you must have heard of.
Yeah? Oh, yes. You see them in film. You see her down among the sharks.
Blue Water, White Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, she plays with the sharks.
Yeah.
So, it's like a Joan Emery of underwater, that sort of thing.
You realize how many bleeding midgets are going to audition for you now?
Well, the thing was, he was drinking coffee one day after 2 days of having no luck even finding a great white, and there were some very bright metallic miniature cages in a small boat being towed by the larger boat in Australia. And one of the sharks, being attracted by the lure of this silver, came out of the water and bit the cage in the boat and took the cage out of the boat. And the guy suddenly was no longer there. The midget was gone. They couldn't find him. He had locked himself into the head of the ship and wouldn't come out. And Valerie had to take a butter knife and unlock the door and make him aware that he was being paid $10,000 to perform That's Incredible.
Are you saying that the shark reached up into the boat and took
it was
the
very
cage,
easy.
or a cage that was being dragged?
It was a cage that was being dragged that the shark got hold of and tore to pieces.
Yeah.
The cage that he was going to go in.
My image is that sharks get up into the boat that I'm in and start after me. I've had that.
Yeah, that's
the best thing to do
nightmare.
when you see a shark, if you're in the water, is the first rule is to get into the center of a large city. That's my advice.
Well, Jaws 3 is about a land shark. It's about it's about a shark who is killed in Jaws 2, becomes a ghost, and haunts the city.
One of the dread land sharks. I thought they were all agents. Oh, but seriously, folks.
Seriously, folks.
We have a piece of tape ready from the from your current film, and it's I've seen several clips from it, so I'm not sure which one this is. I think this is one. Yes. Do you know it's the one in which your
part of the
hero is in the
temple sequence,
the temple,
and he is going after a statue, a gold statue, and he finally this is one of the first scenes in the movie.
I might mention that in this film, an archaeologist apparently there's a race on, really, isn't there? To find
the Lost Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was given to Moses.
And the 10 pieces of the 10 Commandments were supposed to have still been inside.
And they don't want the Germans to get it.
They want to get it before Hitler gets his hands on it. This is on the eve of World War II in 1936. Mm-hmm. And so it's a race between one man and an entire army.
Yeah. I love the sound of this film. It's a if the style of it is in any way suggestive of the old Saturday serials, it's not by accident.
Stay tuned. Next Saturday. Next Saturday.
We have to wait till next Saturday
to find out. Friday night, actually.
I saw him in Sardi's, so I know it comes out all right.
Yeah, right. I don't think you'd ever find Harrison in Sardi's.
I never forget as a kid when I saw a serial in which a guy was shot, and then I saw him later in the Cowboy movie the next week, and I thought, well, that isn't, he's dead. How can he be in the movie the next week?
I like the old serials.
This was last summer, I think. I was not very sophisticated about movies. But
all the serials I love are the ones where you really get your hero into a situation that there is absolutely no way out of, and you have to wait a week to see how he gets out of it, and they forgot to show you one angle, whereas the car went off the cliff in the previous week. The angle they show you on the second week is he opens the door and jumps out.
Yeah,
and this doesn't happen in this movie. We answer all of our logic problems are solved as the movie progresses.
Yeah, that wasn't fair. I remember the time when, I think it was in a Jack Armstrong segment, he fell out of a plane and you saw him falling. And the next week he was hanging by his knees in the door of the plane.
Exactly.
But I guess they figured we wouldn't remember.
No, a week of amnesia.
That must have been full of hazards, this film. I've seen other clips from it, but I haven't seen the movie yet. Where did you run into danger and trouble on this one, if anything? You blew up things, you had a lot of stunts.
We blew up things, we had a lot of stunts, we had a lot of people involved, a lot of extras in Tunisia. We had over 600 extras working a archaeological dig, which in itself was hazardous because it was 135 degrees in the shade every day, and we were all suffering from all the things you suffer from when you're Lawrence and his army walking through the Sahara, and we were shooting on the tongue of the Sahara. It was the parched tongue of the Sahara. It was an awful experience in Tunisia, but I guess the scariest part of making the movie was the fact that it was a sequence where Harrison Ford and Karen Allen are thrown into a chamber with 7,000 live snakes.
Yes, I thought that was a press agent's invention when I read about that, but and how did they decide on 7,000 and not 6,000 or 6,500?
Well, at first we budgeted 2,000 snakes, but the problem was when you put the 2,000 live snakes on the floor, they all huddled into a corner, and it looked like just a little dust swept under the rug. Realized to cover the entire floor of the set, which was a rather large set, we would need about 7,000 snakes.
Who has those available in the Yellow Pages? How do you get the...
It was the British Yellow Pages, and they came from all over the place. They came from Scandinavia, they came from France, they came from Germany. A lot of them were garter snakes, but a lot of the more deadly snakes, the cobras, we got from India, and we got the boa constrictors, I'm not sure from where, and the pythons came in.
Is there a snake wrangler?
We had many snake wranglers in the film. We had 4 of them. They were always being bitten by everything but cobras, of course, because that's deadly. But the pythons were going after everybody. And in the movie, when something bites and snaps and grabs hold of a character, that's a python. And those are real teeth, and that's a real actor going, "Why am I here, and why did I make this movie?"
Yes,
that's
you can
really
see
happening. That's not fake.
You can see Karen in one scene, I think, that I saw. Maybe it was an outtake. It was, I mean, documentary style.
Yeah.
And she shrieks and looks down like something bit her on the leg. Did she get bitten at all? Or?
She wasn't bitten. She was terrified all through the movie because of the snake. She hated snakes, as did everybody else, most everybody else. And when she got involved in the movie, she couldn't scream loud enough because sometimes when you're terrified, you go to scream rather than the noise coming out. It's
yeah, that's right. A real scream.
It's a real. And nothing came out, so I thought I needed something to get some. So when she least expected it, I dropped a snake from the scaffold overhead, and it came around her neck, and she let out a scream that I was able to use in all through the movie. I made 11 copies of the scream and kept cutting it in. That's a good scream. That last scream, she'll never beat that one. And it was a terrible, cruel trick to play on her, but ever since then, she never looked up when she didn't see me around the set. She would always look up when I wasn't around. It was
wide scream.
Yeah, yes, it's sort of a method. Method acting, method directing, it's kind of...
Did you mean that there are people who will pay to let a snake bite, can be paid to... All bites were accidental, were they?
All bites, yeah. Our assistant director had a very severe bite on his hand by a python who wouldn't let go. They had to actually walk over and give a little flick on the snake's tail, and the shock wave went up to the snake's head, and then he decided to let go.
Is that what you do if a python bites you?
You give him a little
flick on the tail?
Little gentle flick on the table. But the English, the British, are so amazing. I mean, they endure so many things, and David Tomlin, who was bitten by the snake, just walked around the stage saying, "Help, please, help, help, please. So, can't get this bleeding thing off me." You know,
yes,
it was like that, and it was amazing. I mean, what they survived.
Yeah. Can't help noticing I'm about to die.
Yeah, right.
They're so polite sometimes, it's irritating.
So polite, so polite. It was great working in England. It's a wonderful place to make movies.
Is it? More so than here?
No, it's one of the same here, but it was a new experience for me because there's just a gentleman. It's like when you shoot skeet or trap. It's so much better shooting European trap than American trap, and it's that way in making movies. There's just something classy about it. They dress in sport jackets and ties. And
yeah. Well, I know exactly what you mean.